Welcome to Criticurb, a Fastide production, and I'm your host, Uche Teresa Ezuko. And today we do have a special guest on our call-out session on creativity and you. And today we do have Frank Talaber. Please welcome Frank to the show. Frank has been a published author for over 19 years. He's a writer by soul, a natural storyteller whose compelling thoughts are freed from the depths of the heart. His literature written beyond the realms of genre, he is known to grab readers kicking, screaming, laughing, crying, and hauling them into his novels. Frank is currently working on a trilogy of short stories. His novel, The Joining, emerged finalist in the Canadian Book Club Awards. Join me in welcoming Canada's foremost offbeat author, Frank Talaber.
Thanks for having me on, and special thanks to all the viewers listening. Muchly appreciated. So as I say, let's get on with the kicking, screaming, and add in a few laughs, and I'm known to drag a few bodies in as well, especially on those full moon nights.
All right, so Frank, tell us, a natural storyteller. Tell us, how has storytelling helped you to ignite that spark within you while triggering that sense of creativity in you?
My son Rory, who's now almost 30 years old, when he was a kid, I would sit down at night and say, okay, give me three things to tell you a story about. And I'd tell him a bedtime story, virtually every other night. Although most nights he'd be peeing himself laughing so hard that he would never get back to sleep. But anyways, and a perfect example of being what I call a writer by soul is the other day I was at my dentist, and he and I have been getting on for years. And he said to me, he says, so why aren't there any dentists on TV shows of any kind? I said, well, it's because most dentists are considered like dweebs. He goes, yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
But he triggered something, and I sat down and I wrote shorts. In 2 hours, I sat down and wrote a 2,500 word short story. And I loved twisting 2 or 3 plot lines around each other, complicating things.
You know what I'm imagining right now? I'm just imagining your story about the dentist and the alien. Frank, why alien?
Yep.
Come on.
I'll if you want to read that one, I'll send you that one later.
Oh, okay. I actually did enjoy reading the one from Santa, the one you sent me earlier on. I really love reading about.
Oh, did you read that one?
Yeah, I love Christmas. I love Santa. Why not?
Well, that was again, that was one of the things in my questions later I was going to say is I always ask myself, what if? So as a writer, I always ask, what if? So what if Santa had a chance to rewrite his contract? Well, how would he do it today to deal with today's society, which is a lot obviously rougher and coarse edged and even more not vile but meaner than it would have been back in 1,000 years ago, right?
That's right. That's right. In the real world, sometimes I don't like using the what if because it makes me sound like pessimistic, But sometimes in the literary world, I think it's a good thing to use because
in literary, yes.
Yeah, it kind of triggers that something in your head that turns into a story eventually,
Yeah, and then that's usually one of the things that triggers me all the time. I've written quite a few stories based on customer stuff, feedback.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is so good. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Frank. Yeah. Thank you. Can you tell us a bit more about yourself as an author and how do you feel about your novel titled The Joining, emerging as a finalist in the Canadian Book Club Awards, and how creativity has helped to give you that remarkable growth as an author?
Thank you. Of course, I'm very excited about that novel finishing the top 3 out of several hundred entries. I won't know till late December if it wins, but even just getting the top 3 is quite an honor. Let's say, I think off the wall, one of my favorite friends and reader, he said to me one time, he says, I hate you. He said, my wife, who has your book, The Joining, is on medical leave, and she won't get out of the bathroom. She can't put your book down. I said, Bruce, that's a perfect review. I said, because I love Off the Wall, and I love Off the Wall reviews as well. Like I said, I love weaving 2 or 3 storylines, and one of the funniest stories I have is when I was a kid. So when I first took in high school, I took a creative writing course because I was intrigued by it, but I hadn't done much writing. And I thought, well, this is going to be easy credits, right? So
Okay.
we sit down on the first day of the course, and the teacher says, here's your course material. And I open the book, and I, honest to God, put my hand up. I go, but it's empty. He goes, yeah, your job's to fill it. I go, what? So, so his whole idea, and it actually, for people that are writers, works very well. The idea was for the first 15, 20 minutes of the course, you had to write. You had to write anything.
Okay.
And at first, the first couple of weeks, it's like, the walls are still green. The girl in front of me is still a cute blonde. Like, what am I doing here? But after a while, it all of a sudden something starts clicking as a writer. And next thing I know, I would just start pouring stuff down on the paper. And, you know, there are many times when he'd say, Frank, put your damn pen down, stop. I said, I can't. And I'd write like 5, 6, 7 pages in those, 20 minutes. It's just, this whole idea is to let go of in your entire conscious mind and go completely subconscious so that you can just kind of let it out.
After reading your Santa story, I was like, what date is it again? Is it Christmas? It just has to be Christmas. Frank has made it Christmas for me. Oh, wonderful. That is so good. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're still on the show Criticurb, a Fastide production, and I'm your host, Uche Teresa Ezuko. And today we do have a special guest on our call-out session on creativity and you. We do have Frank Talaber as our special guest. And Frank, you're still welcome to the show. Welcome.
Thank you.
And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. All right, Frank, so tell us, your style and approach to creativity is very unique, using storytelling. How has these helped you as an individual? Does it influence your personality in any way?
I think it's made me off the wall crazy, personally.
With all the whole aliens and vampires and I don't know, Frank, you tell me.
You can read that story and you tell me what you think. I tend to think outside the box. I've learned many years ago. Like I say, I ask my customers questions, I ask people questions. Another crazy story I have. So I did stay one night at the Empress Hotel in Victoria, BC.
Okay.
Which, for people that don't know, Victoria is probably considered the most haunted city in North America, if not the world, because there's dozens and dozens of ghost stories, and I won't get into why. But so I'm waiting for our car to come around, and they have that guys that stand out there and greet people. And I said to the guy, so any ghost stories? He goes, yeah. He says, actually, I've got a real crazy one. He says, so just like you guys, a couple of years ago, this couple are sitting there waiting for the car.
Okay.
They look pretty scared and shaky, and I asked him, I said, are you guys okay? And the guy said, no. So we go into our locked hotel room last night. Okay. My wife's suitcase has been opened up. Her clothes were taken out and ghost clothes were put in. Well, what if there really is a ghost walking around today in modern clothing out there? That's my what if twist, right?
Yeah. Now, Frank, that's really creepy.
Romance, most romance writers are female.
Yeah.
And then a few that males that are usually published under a female name, because most women usually won't read them.
Really? So that's I would actually read a romance novel from a man author. I would definitely read that 100%. Because I like to.
I'll let you know when I get that redone.
Yeah, I like to get a feeling of romance coming from a man's perspective, So I would definitely read that coming from a man author. So why not? Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Frank. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right, so tell us, I like the concept of storytelling as a compelling thought that are freed from the depths of the heart. You are currently working on a trilogy of short stories and one accepted for publication already. How has these empowered your literary appreciation and capabilities? Literature is like an adventure. So tell us, what are your greatest fears, your challenges, goals, and accomplishments?
Thank you. I originally wanted to put a volume together of short stories that I've had published and done over the years or shortlisted. Only realized I have enough for three volumes of books, so that's why I put them together. and again, my off-the-wall mind says, well, I need to do a trilogy, and they have to be kind of all along the same lines. So
Okay.
the name of that first one is going to be What I Would Say to Buddha If I Met Him in the Pub.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to use for the second one What I Would Say to Darth Vader if I met him in the sauna, but I thought, nah, there's probably copyright stuff there.
Yeah.
So it's going to be What I'd Say to Einstein if I met him on the dance floor, because I love dancing
Okay.
too.
Okay.
And like I said, that story about Santa Claus, I wrote that under the thing of, well, what if he had a chance to rewrite his contract today? How would he act, and how would he be different? But he also, like as you probably read, he also has his own union of elves. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, I've merged, and the other thing is I've learned, and this is a good tip for beginning writers. I've learned to take perfect short stories. I love short stories, and I've now taken some of my novels are based on two different short stories I merged together into
Okay.
the novel.
What would you consider a short story? Like 100 pages, 10 chapters? You
No,
know.
a short story is usually most contests that you enter. They want short stories around 2,000 to 2,500 words max.
Okay.
Flash people will do flash fiction, which is less than 1,000 words,
That's right.
and I I have a hard time with flash fiction because you can't really say much in 1,000 words. That's like 3 pages, and I mean,
Yeah.
you know, no, if you don't get much depth in there for anything really powerful, I think. So,
Yeah.
anyways, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. And I like the idea of short stories because usually short stories do trigger up something. But towards the end of the short story, you have your reader saying, "Oh, I want a continuation. Oh, this story should go on. We want more." And then you find yourself writing more. You know, that wasn't part of the plan, but you know.
True, and that's kind of, and you're right, and that's kind of where some of these short stories went.
Yeah,
Eventually, as a writer, I'm thinking, you know what, there's that character or these characters or this whole scene could be
mhm,
part of something bigger. And then
exactly.
most writers, at least I think, then that's where my mind goes. I start
Yeah,
weaving into this bigger book.
that's right.
So
That's right. Well, that's good. That's really good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing
thank
that
you.
with us today, Frank. Thank you. And now let's have a look at some of Frank's collections. And we're still on the show, Criticurb, a Fastide production. And this is our call out session on creativity and you. And today we do have a super duper special guest. Frank Talaber is our special guest today on our call out session on creativity and you. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. And Frank, you are still welcome to the show. Welcome. All right, Frank. So tell us, how do you feel about where you are right now in terms of what you have achieved? You are known to geek, scream, laugh, or cry, and finally haul in your readers into your novels. How has life as a published author and a natural storyteller helped you to discover your passion?
Um, one of the things I've told many beginning writers, because I often will talk at conventions and that
Mm-hmm.
is, and here's the one thing, because a lot of people will try to put a whole pile of backfill into the story when they think they need to explain all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons why I drag people kicking and screaming into my books is because I don't do that. And and I think a good writer shouldn't do that. You need to grab their attention, smack them right between the eyes, right off the bat. So
That's
the
right.
first question they're going to ask is, "What the hell is going on here? Like, what do you got?"
Frank, I told you your book was addictive. I told you that. And it's true.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tell us, what are your next big steps? Where are all of these taking you to? Where do you see yourself excelling into from here? What speech do you have for your readers out there who are fascinated with the way you write?
I will say never, 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 ever give up.
Never.
I kept never, and I'm just finishing right now book two, the one after the joining, book two is called the Mystery of Mystique, and because of the whole off the wall ghosting of Victoria, because I guess there's so many ghost stories there, and it just kind of compels me to write about them, and go from there. One of my next projects that I want to get onto when I'm done that one
Okay.
is because I talked about romance earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I have a book that's been brewing in my head for a long time, kind of based on the Bridges of Madison County, that novel that was written about 20 years ago.
Okay.
If anyone wants to read some really good romance written by a guy,
Okay.
that's the one. James Waller, I think. So that's kind of, again, so an off the wall romance that I'm looking at doing next.
Oh,
In addition to that,
wonderful.
I've also written a set of science fiction novels, 3 of them. Those I'm going to start getting republished as
Yeah.
well.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. And I just love you, Frank. I just love the way you're mixing romance,
Thank you.
werewolves, and aliens.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So if any publisher's looking for a guy that's sticking to one genre, you got the wrong dude. That ain't me.
I
You know,
know,
all
definitely,
over the place. All
definitely.
over the
But Frank,
place.
you know what? You must love Halloween, don't you?
I which?
You love Halloween?
I love Halloween.
I
Yes.
know.
I have a few Halloween stories too as well. I've kind of blended Halloween into Christmas, a couple Christmas stories.
Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
I do.
mean, for the fact that you are able to, write across genres, it's awesome.
My main goal as a writer, or my main law,
Mhm.
is simply this: the good guy must win. The good guy or the good woman, the good person, the good thing, the good
Mhm.
creature, whatever it is, must win. Because
Yeah.
if it didn't, it'd be a pretty dreary, bad world that we're in. So I'm very positive, and like I said, I usually write it with the aspect that somehow there's the good person's got to win.
Yeah, something like good conquers evil, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And he may do it in the off the wall craziest way, where even an evil person might not realize he got beat, but he does. Those are the ones I usually love writing about.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing all that with us, Frank. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're still on the show, Criticurb, a Fastide production, and this is our call out session on creativity and you. And today we have a special guest. Frank Talaber is our special guest today. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. And Frank, you're still welcome to the show. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So tell us, I'm sure a lot of people out there are eager to know more about what you do. How can we reach out to you for collaborations or partnerships? We're all interested in getting to know you more.
Thank you. I publish quite actively on Facebook. I have on Facebook 3 or 4 pages, my main page, but I also have a published authors page. And
Okay.
on my published authors page at the bottom is a link to my newsletter, because I send out my newsletter about once a month roughly, to keep people updated as to what I'm doing, writing, doing video of, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I also have a short story page on Facebook as well. It's called My Short Stories. So if you look that up, you'll see my name there, and a lot of my stories have been published in there. If you want something quick to read, I'm also on LinkedIn, as you know, because that's where we hooked up. I'm also on Twitter as Frank Talaber as well, and Goodreads. And my main webpage is on WordPress, so you can look me up there. And if you look up me on Amazon, look my name up on Amazon, you see the link to all my current books that are out there currently.
That's right. Wonderful. Thank you so much. We will be
You're welcome.
coming after you after all this.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad I made you laugh.
Yeah. Frank, you're always making me laugh. Honestly,
You're welcome. We need to wrap this up soon because it's getting dark outside, and I think there's still a couple werewolves lurking
werewolves
about.
around.
So.
Okay, you gotta go grab your pepper spray for the werewolves. And before I let you go, one more thing. Let's play a
Yep.
mind game together, okay? So it's just for
Okay.
fun, okay? Now,
Yep.
let's pretend that you were invited for an event and you're asked to pick 3 shows that you would love to showcase. So I will give you 7 options. You need to choose
Yep.
at least three shows that will best appeal to you. We kind of want to, it's a way to, want to know you more. And also
Okay.
that gives us a way of getting to know about your passion and get to know you a little bit more personally. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So I will give you 7 options or 7 shows or events. So you're going to choose like 3 out of the 7. Okay.
Okay.
So the first one is a musician. The second one is an architect. And the third one is a stand-up comedian. And the fourth one is a storyteller for kids and adults. And the fifth one is an author. The sixth one is a mechanic. And the seventh one is a barber.
Being a barber could be okay because you don't have much choice but to listen to you while you're babbling on madly. I actually, my first choice actually would be a musician, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
In my head, I mean, most authors are, I think, are pretty quiet and introverted people. I'm
Mhm.
not, and to me, the greatest thrill in the world would be on a stage, thousands of people screaming your name or screaming in rhythm with you while you're singing.
Wonderful.
That I think is the most amazing, for me, the most amazing thing I could do. The problem is I can't sing worth beans. I'm so off rhythm. But that would be my greatest thrill.
Oh,
I would love to be a storyteller for children's, and I may decide to do that one day, to go to hospitals and see if somebody wants to have me tell kids stories to kind of
okay.
mainly to cheer up their lives, because they're probably down and out because they've been injured, or maybe they've got cancer or something
Hmm.
like that. That to me would be a great honor.
Good.
And one of the things in my life is always about giving back what I've received,
Yeah,
because it's all about that pay it forward thing. I love to pay forward what I've learned to
hmm,
help other people become
that's
better
right.
authors,
That's right.
right? Personally, yes.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Frank, for coming to the
You're welcome.
show, and thank you for sharing all this
Thank you.
beautiful information and your creative ingenuity and insights with us. It's really amazing having you on the show today, and we're
Thanks.
looking forward to your books, short stories, and yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.